Hi everyone, it's Tallara and welcome back to Citizen Sleeper. It is cycle 18 and we're moving and grooving here on the eye, but our quest list, or our drive list, remains as long as ever. As you can see, we've got a number of things to do, including building a home, tracking Conway, disabling our tracker, fixing the ambergris, helping Sabine get out, getting to know Emphas, helping Lem work, and winning a side reel ticket. So, luckily, we did start today feeling stable and having a decent amount of energy. We also have a bunch of action dice, which all have really good rolls, so that's good to see. So it all comes down to this. What are we going to do today? This is one thing that I noticed when I was finishing recording last episode. I was talking about how we need to get to the Greenway and how maybe we'd have to get there through the Free Spoke. And after I finished recording, I was just sort of looking around the eye a little bit, and I noticed if we go up past the Free Spoke, there's actually something up here, which I never even noticed was here before. So let's check this out. Founder's Gap, which is a gap in the ring station. To reach the Greenway, you need to pay for a pass, a practice invented by the spacers moored here. They call it Founder's Ferry, and oh my god, it is expensive. 150 cryo to pay for passage to the Greenway. Holy moly, okay, I guess we won't be doing that today, as much as I would like to. So I guess we'll get to work, literally, try to get some jobs, make some cryo. And we'll probably head down here to the side reel bridge and do work down here. Our work as a junior tech has qualified us to work in the team handling the final tech fit-up of the Side Rail Horizons Bridge, a vast job. So, we will get to work here, make some cryo, and continue putting together the vast colony ship. We get 15 cryo if we successfully do some fit-up here. Perfect, perfect. We're spending the shift in a flow state, linking systems like thread on a loom. Our mind is a diagram of cause and effect. Let's do one more. Oh, unfortunately, that was a negative outcome. Now, we still did get paid, which is good, but we did lose a bit of energy, so... Anyway, we did make a lot of money today. We're up to 104 cryo. But now with our remaining actions, I think I want to do something different. We did a lot of work on the Side Rail Horizon today. It seems only fair that we let our friend Lem go do some work as well. You may remember we have offered to watch Mina while Lem works some shifts in the shipyard. So that's exactly what we'll do. We will babysit Mina here. By the end of the day, Mina curls up in your lap as you read her a story. She's asleep when Lem gets back and you two eat together. Oh, okay, great. So that helps Lem getting a ticket out, and actually babysitting Mina restores our energy. Who needs to eat when you can just hang out with a cute kid? That's awesome. All right, we did our shift there. What else should we do today? Let me just take a look here at our drives. Yeah, if we get scrap, we can build up that derelict unit in the low end that we saw. We need to meet Feng in the Greenway to continue that drive, which is paired with this one. To fix the ambergris, we need to get Ankita a ship mind, which we already have a ship mind. Our friend Neoven, or Navigator, is imprinted on it. I'm hoping we can sort of kill two birds with one stone. If I finish Neoven's drive, then maybe we can just give him to Ankita. So I'm kind of holding off on that one for now. Right. Sabine needs Yatagon data. Emphas needs Girol caps, which are apparently in the Greenway. Watch Me Know Lem works, of course we just did, and help complete the Side Rail Horizon, which we've been working on. So I guess maybe we'll try to extract some Yatagon data. Let's see if any of the Yatagon agents need a 5 today. That one needs a 1 or a 3, so not what we've got. This one needs a 1 or a 3, so not what we've got. We don't often wish for a 1 or a 3 on our action rolls, but apparently that's what we need. Okay, well, I'm not going to re-roll our 5. A 5 is too good to give up, so instead I'm going to go work one more shift on the side reel bridge, make a little bit more money, continue fixing that thing up. Perfect. Positive outcome. We get plus 20 cryo, and again, the ship gets ever closer to completion. All right, we've got a ton of cryo now. We're getting there. We'll soon be able to buy passage to the Greenway. For now, though, we return home to our empty container and end this cycle. Alrighty, what do we got today? We got a 5, 3 4s, and a 1. Well, right away, we know what we're going to do with that 1. We're going to go find the Yatagan agents that require the 1 and access their protocols. Some gang enforcers' implants are chirping out comm signals. Time to see what they're talking about. Perfect. Data extracted. And because of our perk Icebreaker, we actually get 2 Yatagan data for the price of 1. That's freaking fantastic. I can't actually remember how many Yatagan data we needed to give. So let's see. Looks like just 3. So I think we have enough. Sabine's terminal sits open in the empty apartment, waiting for the next batch of Yatagan data. With enough data on Yatagan's activities, Sabine might be able to bargain for their freedom. Alright, well, let's input all the data that we have. The terminal chirps, the data quickly tucked away in Sabine's system. And last one. Awesome. As you turn away from the terminal, the final cache of Yatagan data uploaded, the air crackles with white noise. Sleeper? Sabine's voice, weaker than before, comes through the haze. Sabine? A sigh of relief comes through the layers of noise. The call must be coming in from somewhere on the station. This has to be short. I don't know if Yatagan are monitoring me. Their voice is hushed, distant. You try to focus on it. The data you've been bringing in from Yatagan agents. There's something in it I don't understand. A shrill howl rattles through the signal. This data is all gleaned from their implants, records of integration with their nervous systems, performance analysis, error rates, usage data. I installed many of these implants, and I didn't enable any of this functionality. Their voice dips under the level of the noise like a swimmer slipping beneath the water. You listen to the waves for a few seconds before Sabine reemerges. It has to be somehow baked into their wetware's interface, and that's not all. The systems compiling this data are connected to some kind of transmission protocol. It's being broadcast. Wait, why? Every Yatagan enforcer is equipped with black market implants. Retinal enhancements, adrenaline boosters, pain suppressors. These implants are gathering data on themselves, on the enforcer's body, on their performance. Why? I can't tell. But I can promise you these foot soldiers have no idea this is going on. The background tone switches, dropping to a grainy rumble. If they knew, I don't imagine they would be happy with the situation. Yatagan could have a mutiny on their hands. You lean towards the terminal, straining to listen to Sabine's faint voice. I need a few cycles to pull this all together, but this might be the information I need to pressure Yannick into releasing my debt. Who's Yannick? He's one of the heads of Yatagan. They pause. It's better you don't know him. Keep it that way. Suddenly a banging echoes through the call. Sabine's voice is suddenly whispered. Panicked. I have to go. Come back in 4 cycles. Then the sharp crack of a disconnect and silence fills the apartment. You step back from the terminal. What does Yatagan have to gain from monitoring its own members? You try to recall what you know about the gang, but you have little to go on. You think of Toshiro, Sabine's minder, his mirrored teardrop implants set below hard eyes. What data could they be gathering, and more importantly, where are they sending it? You reflexively rub your forehead, trying to think. Can you really trust Sabine? How did they come to be Yatagan's doctor in the first place? You think of their kindness, their care, but also that glazed look of recognition that they gave you when they first met you. That look stays in your mind as you slip back out of the apartment, glancing around as you close it up and drift into the corridors of the station, unable to shake the unpleasant sensation of being observed. Okay, so I guess all we can do now is wait. Waiting for Sabine to be ready makes you anxious if Yatagan finds out what they're up to. Yeah, there's nothing we can do for the time being except cross our fingers and hope it'll all be okay. Seeing as we're down here in the low end, we may as well stop by Lem and Mina's unit. I wouldn't mind babysitting Mina a little bit more today. Mina leads you on a winding tour of the block, chatting to the neighbors and collecting snacks. For a while, you forget about everything else. It's really nice hanging out with Mina. I like it. Okay, if we can get a little bit more cryo, we'll be able to access the Greenway. So let's spend the rest of our actions down here, working at the sidereal horizon. Perfect. Gives us plus 15 cryo and plus 2 to the side rail horizon completion rate. There we go. That gives us to over the 150 we need, but let's do one more shift just to give us a bit of a cushion here. Perfect. At times it seems the tangled systems will never be laid straight, but linkage by linkage our team is progressing. Alrighty, and now with all this money in our hand, cryo, let's head up here and pay for passage. A heavily tattooed spacer takes your chits and tells you to prepare. She'll be waiting at the edge for your arrival. Alright, let's go across, I guess. Take the ferry across the Founder's Gap to the Greenway. This is a whole new part of the station, and I can see where it got its name. It's green over here. The Greenway is an overgrown biosphere on the other side of the station. As you step out into the passageway, someone barrels into you from behind, sending you stumbling down the corridor. You turn to see an unfamiliar spacer laden with heavy gear. She steadies herself, staring you down as if daring you to respond. Sorry. She adjusts a strap on her shoulder, holding up a hand in recognition before setting off down the corridor. I'm sorry for her. A second spacer smiles at you apologetically. She's on a mission, and when she's on a mission, they shrug. Not a problem. They smile. You're sweet. Peek! Ash stands further down the corridor, glowering at her friend. She chops at the air, pointing down the corridor to whatever end she is rushing to. Peek raises their eyebrows at you. Ash, please, do you want everyone on the station to hate us? Ash hardens. They want to hate us. They can hate us. She drops her hip. I'm not exactly seeing much love as it is. We're lucky we got through before they set up that damn cordon. Cordon? What are you talking about? Peek gestures in your direction. See, they don't even know what you're talking about. This station isn't Hawthorne. Not everyone has to follow some corporate protocol. Ash sighs. I'm not saying they're part of the administration, she jerks her head in your direction, but I am saying we need to get these supplies to the Briar before someone starts asking questions. Can I help? Peek smiles slyly. See, Ash, help. Isn't that exactly what we need right now? Peek. Ash rolls her eyes. Peek ignores her. We are with the refugees, the ones Havanaj have cordoned off from entering the station. Ash interrupts. The ones that are being quarantined in makeshift vessels that barely made it to the eye to begin with. The ones that your station administrators have called an existential risk and are running out of supplies while their right to safety is being debated by people with no stake in their future. She quickly looks away, annoyed at her own outburst. Peek sighs. She's right. People are trapped out there, and they turn to Ash. We understand that this is a big problem for the Eye. Hundreds of refugees and more ships turning up each cycle. They hold up a hand to stop Ash interrupting, but Ash turns away, her burning anger a palpable force in the close quarters of the corridor. They need supplies, and after everything they've been through, the quarantine isn't helping, Peek finishes. That's difficult, for sure. Peek forces a smile. Peek, please. Ash gathers herself and the supplies. Ash, we need help. Just like the refugees needed us, we need others too. They smile at her. Peek turns to you. Come find us. The climbing briar is docked at the Broken Spoke, past the Greenway in the wastes. We have a good view of the cordon, though we are keeping our distance for now. Come help us. They squeeze your hand. Ash turns to leave and Peek follows, waving goodbye. A moment later, Ash shouts back down the corridor. Don't bother coming empty-handed. You want to help? Show us. Bring supplies or don't come at all. And with that, they disappear around the corner. Ash already picking up speed as Peek calls for her to slow down. A refugee flotilla? Where are they coming from and why now? Each time you think you begin to understand this place, something changes. Wow, couldn't have said that any better myself. And that is another drive added to our never-ending list. We now have flotilla aid. Ash and Peek need help gathering supplies for the refugee flotilla quarantined past the wastes. Will you help them? Apparently it's mushrooms that they need. Bring mushrooms to the Briar is our drive. So I guess, man, the Eye is a big station. We're just getting to this new area, the Greenway, and then past that, there's even more. The wastes. Oh my goodness. Yeah, and you can see there's ships and stuff out here. Okay, let's take it one step at a time. Let's go back to the beginning of the Greenway and just slowly make our way up through. So this is the Greenway. Exploring the Greenway is unlike any other place on the Eye. Its overgrown chambers defy mapping. So we can either just walk it or try to map it. That's good to know. And up here is the service dock, a derelict Greenway dock. Oh, this is where we meet Fang. Why is it that you always have to wait for Fang? When is he going to be the one waiting for you? Truly. Okay, we need to wait 3 more cycles before we can meet Fang at the service dock. Then here is the Haifa Commune, a self-sustaining community. The only way to become part of the commune is to work your way in, through long service. It isn't for everyone. We can either work the canteen or work the grow beds. Keep that in mind. Then, okay, this is the wastes. So it goes, you can see the differential pretty quick. Greenway, wastes. Out here, at the edge of the habitable parts of the Eye, everything is scrap. The trick is finding components that are still usable and staying safe. So I can't even interact with this unless I have higher endure. But basically, I guess the wastes were supposed to be like the Greenway, but unfortunately, the agricultural systems are now ruined. But if we keep coming up here, this is the Climbing Briar, the escaped XPR ship. Welcome to Episode Flux. Episode Flux is the first of 3 episodic updates to Citizen Sleeper, telling the story of the refugee flotilla which has arrived at the Eye. All 3 episodes, Flux, Refuge, and Purge, are now available. Completing the supply gear rolls action will begin the episode, but be aware it is intended for late game play. Oh, interesting. So I think this is technically DLC. I had heard mention that there was DLC to the game, free DLC. And here it is. So I guess this is something we shouldn't prioritize until later. That's good to know. I'm glad actually it had that warning to make things clear up front. Alright, so that's as far down as we can go. And we are out of action points for today. So I guess for now, we will cross the ferry back across to the rim and go home sweet home. Uh-oh. I was going to say and go home sweet home to our empty container, but what does Ethan, that cynical bounty hunter, want? The compressor is quiet today. The usual crowds are elsewhere, and the pumping music washes over a handful of spacers and a few drunks. Ethan's still in the same stool, in the same pool of light. His head is low, close to the bar, and the bartender is ignoring him. I don't know if I want to talk to him. I don't know if I want to draw his attention. Last time we got into a bit of a confrontation. I'm gonna try to leave. This is ridiculous. You go to turn, but Ethan calls out, "Sleeper!" He turns to look at you. "Time to pay up again, is it?" He gestures to the bartender. "Come here, take their chits." No more, Ethan. Ethan doesn't even look at you. He props his elbows on the bar and holds his head. "Sleeper, it's been a long cycle, and I don't care." Ethan lets out a long sigh. He rapidly rubs his eyes with his palms. "You're right," he says quietly. "This isn't fun anymore." He reaches towards his holster. His elbow slips and the gun tumbles out. It clatters on the bar and falls to the floor, bouncing onto the ground between you. Both you and the bartender look at the gun. Stare at it. "Butterfingers," says Ethan, and puts out a hand, beckoning for you to give him the gun back. "If you would." The bartender looks at you warily. You crouch down and pick up the gun. Oh, wow. What do we do here? I feel like it would be dumb of me to just hand Ethan the gun. If he is gonna willy-nilly wave this thing around and point it at me, it seems about time I turn the tables and point the gun back at him. Ethan turns his head in your direction a little, a sharp, pale eye locking with yours. The bartender backs away. "Oh." He turns on the stool. "Oh, Sleeper." He stands. "This is more like it." As much as I want to pull the trigger, maybe we'll wait and see what he has to say. You hold the gun steady, training it on his head. Ethan smiles, like the dog that caught the car. He turns to the bartender and mock whispers, "I'm not sure they know what to do with it." You keep the gun on Ethan. Ethan smiles at the bartender. "Oh well," he says, and grabs the gun, slamming it back into your face in a single move. You stagger back and drop to a knee. Somewhere nearby, the gun clatters onto a surface. The hit's a glancing blow, but it makes your vision swim. Through the blur, you see Ethan wrestle a small, thin slate from his belt and hold it up. "Enough of this. I'm logging the job and calling it in." Ethan taps at the slate. "No more playing." Your head aches. Ethan taps through a few screens impatiently. He swears and taps again. He starts shouting, a dull echo to your ringing ears. He starts screaming at the slate and throws it across the bar. He crouches down and grabs you by the chin, his face close, his breath heavy with drink. S&ARP just screwed me, he grins maniacally. They canceled the contract. He stands up. They canceled the contract! He shouts at the ceiling of the compressor. You stand up, struggling to your feet, the sting of the hit fading. Ethan is rubbing his temples, his face pale. You hear a clicking sound, like coins being counted, like bullets being loaded into a magazine. When you shake off the last of the blur, the bartender has Ethan's pistol trained on Ethan's head. Wow, that's a plot twist. Ethan stumbles back towards the middle of the room, all eyes trained on him. "I'll kill all of you," he screams. He stumbles into the wall, spinning away towards the door. "I'll be back for that," he shouts at the bartender and lunges out of the compressor. You steady yourself on the bar and catch your breath. The rumble of conversation returns. The bartender goes to say something, but then thinks better of it and begins to clean the bar. After a while, you wander out into the light of the bright market, looking for Ethan around every corner. Wow. I can't believe we got out of that unscathed. Not only did we not get shot, we also didn't have to shoot anybody. As much as I loathe Ethan, I also didn't want to murder somebody. And apparently S&ARP has canceled the contract? That is very confusing. I'm glad the bartender had our back. Ethan may be disarmed, but you doubt you've seen the last of him. Ethan's vendetta. Looks like the cycle clock is counting down. We've got about 8 days until we're gonna have to deal with him again. Lovely. Okay, well, for now, let's head back to our comfy, cozy, empty container and call it a day. Alrighty. So, today, now that we've got a bunch of action dice, on the way to the Greenway, I'm going to stop by Lem and Mina's unit and do a little babysitting. Mina's crying when Lem leaves and refuses to talk to you. The hours crawl by and you're desperate to get out when Lem finally returns. Oh, I feel like we always have such a good time together, but today was not that day. Mina was not in the mood to hang out with me, but Lem still got out for his shift, so that's good. It wasn't a waste of time, per se. And now let's head across on the Founder's Ferry. Luckily, it looks like we only had to pay the toll once, and then we get free access after that. And now, if we go to the Haifa commune, this is where I wanted to work, so we can try to become a Haifa member. We can either work the canteen or work the grow beds. It'll be better for us to work the canteen. Newcomers to the commune can work within the canteen, preparing and serving food for those that make the compound their home. I have to assume that this is where we'll get the mushrooms we need for multiple different quests, so that's why I want to work here. You watch as the commune members come and go to the canteen, shouting to each other and mixing freely. Feels good to serve them. Now, the 2 dice that we have left are pretty low. It's a 1 and a 2, so I'm actually going to re-roll those. We still are stuck with a 1, but we do have a 5, so let's do that. We'll do another shift in the canteen. After seeing you prepare the food, the grow bed workers invite you to share a meal with them. The conversation flows warmly and freely. Nice. Looks like everyone here in this commune's really nice, and we're starting to build a positive reputation. We actually just discovered a new drive. Join the Haifa commune. The Haifa commune meets the needs of its members in exchange for work. Could you find a home here? I mean, maybe. Better than my empty shipping container, probably. Now, all we've got left is a 1, so that's probably best used in the cloud. Let's see. So I just want to take a look. Looks like the only thing for us to access over here on the Greenway is the Greenway gate. The entire Greenway is locked down, shrouded in a dark cloud of shifting currents. What's happening here? The only way we can open it is with a Greenway cipher, which I don't have, so guess we won't be exploring the Greenway cloud anytime soon. But I will continue in the cloud on this side because there's not a lot you can do with a 1. But sometimes a 1 actually comes in handy for some of this hacking. For example, we can hack this Havanage agent, perhaps. That one needs a 2 or a 3. What about this one? 2 or 3. No one needs a 1? Come on. Yatagan agent, 1. Some gang enforcers' implants are tripping out comm signals. Time to see what they're talking about. Alright, we can extract that data. Nice. We actually get 2 extractions there because of our icebreaker perk activating, which means we now get some extra data. So I think that's all we're going to be able to do for today. I'm wondering, is it worth selling that data perhaps? We can go to the Havanaj offices, and here we can sell Yatagan data. A slate in the office advertises that Havanaj are looking for informants on gang activity in the Eye, and they'll pay. May as well. Plus 10 cryo. The acquisitions officer eyes you suspiciously as you download the data to her terminal. This is more than she was expecting. Well, I've got even more for you. Nice. That gets us plus 20 cryo. Alrighty. Another cycle complete. Let's head home and rest once again. Nice, we got really good rolls today. A 6, a 3, and 2 4s. We'll absolutely take that. So, first stop, we're making this a bit of a routine now. We'll stop at Lem and Mina's unit and do some babysitting. Mina leads you on a winding tour of the block, chatting to the neighbors and collecting snacks. For a while, you forget about everything else. Excellent. Mina was in a much better mood today, which is nice. We actually got a little bit of energy from it. So, I'm just looking at all of our countdowns. We're still waiting, obviously, on Ethan there. We're still waiting on Sabine as well. I think we're still waiting on a number of different things. So let's head across the Founders Ferry again to the Greenway. Over here, we continue to wait for Fang, but he should be ready tomorrow. So we'll put in a couple shifts at the commune. Let's work the canteen again today. Excellent. Really looks like we're making friends here. Things are going good. We'll become a Haifa member soon enough. You watch as commune members come and go to the canteen, shouting to each other and mixing freely. Alright, one more shift maybe? We'll become an official member? Yes! Excellent! You head down into the Haifa compound, following a blue painted line that is labeled Laboratories. The member you were assigned to work with told you they'd asked to see you, but you still have no idea what about. The line takes you to a blue door and through to a glass-roofed chamber where a network of stems and leaves filters the sunlight coming through the ceiling, casting the whole chamber in a strange yellow-green. Peaceful, isn't it? Distracted by the green, you missed the woman standing at a lab bench, camouflaged by the dappled light. "Welcome to my sanctuary," she smiles. "Come, let's talk," she says and beckons you closer. "What is this place?" "Here? These were processing centers for the agriculture of the old corporate station." She offers a hand to shake. "I'm Rico. I run the botany program at Haifa." "What is Haifa?" She looks surprised. "You've been working in the compound for a while now. I'm surprised you don't know more." She lifts a tiny sample jar. Yellow spores dance inside. "Haifa lives off the land of the Greenway. It's what allows us to live like we do. No one here pays or is paid. We sleep here, we feed each other, we work for each other." Rico walks away from the bench and waves for you to follow. She opens a small door and leads you down a glass corridor surrounded by vivid green. "All this," she says, gesturing at the overgrowth. "It's a kind of miracle." She looks at you with bright eyes. "What do you think usually happens to plants on stations like this when they're abandoned?" "They die?" "Eventually, yes. They cannot live without intervention." She leads you left at a crossroads. "But here, they endured." She smiles to herself. "Actually, no, they thrived." You look at the bright tendrils wrapped around the metal frames of the corridor. They look dominant, strong, like they are taking control of this place. Rico continues. "Of course, Solheim tried to create a stable biosphere here, patchworking the surface with gardens and algae tanks that feed into a network of microbial reclamation systems. But the Greenway was always envisioned as extractive, a place from which the harvest is removed and sold to those living on the station, not a closed loop. For this reason, when the collapse came, the Greenway should have gone with it. Erlin himself was so convinced of it that his first colony never even came here to try to reclaim it. The Eye instead relied on outside favors and influences, shipments from the inner system and small-scale agriculture systems like kelp and fungal farm stacks. And yet, here we are, Among growth and decay, a biosphere flourishing. When Haifa came here, we expected to find only vacuum-dried stalks and leaves, and perhaps some fungal colonies hidden in the mulch. But we found a jungle. With this, Rico hits a button on the wall and leads you through a large pair of double doors into a huge, impossible chamber. It is every kind of green, from the pale algae tanks to the dark vines that surround him. It is wet, too, a rarity on the eye. Condensation clouds the light from the high glass roof and gathers on the shiny, broad leaves of shrubs. How? That is exactly our question. Rico turns to you, visibly excited by the room you're both standing in. It doesn't make sense, but in many ways the system has stabilized. Unlike the farm stacks closer to the gap, who need input to support their meager output, this place runs itself. Perhaps Solheim managed something new here. Perhaps they tweaked the plants or built new systems buried deep below us. Or perhaps their collapse caused some fortunate cascade, an unlikely chemical reaction within the biosphere. That's what I'd like you to help me find out. She turns to you, her forehead wet with dew. Wait, me? Yes, you. Rico sits on a railing. These halls run deep, Sleeper, and I'm getting old. She stamps her foot on the metal grating of the walkway. Whatever's causing this, it's to be found in the groves deep in the Greenway. Haifa won't spare anyone for an expedition. It's too dangerous and unnecessary, they say. I can make the case, but I can't get the votes. You sleepers are hardy beings. I know that much, and you can speak to the eye, uncover its secrets in ways I never can. She holds out an arm so you can help her stand. Bring me samples, spores, seeds, and blooms. I can grow them in the lab and study them. The deeper they're found, the better. I can't say no to you. I really like Rico, and it really is amazing that the Greenway exists and all of this is growing here on the station. I'm interested, and I'm a part of this commune now, so you know what? I'll try. Thank you, and thank you for listening. Rico leads you back out of the huge chamber and up through the passages. She's a little slower now and stumbles on the steps. You help her where you can. It's good to have new blood in the commune, she says. Many of us have been here a long time, and few come through. She settles back at her bench in the lab, stretching her legs. You go to leave. Come back if you find something, Sleeper, she calls. There are discoveries to be made. And you follow the blue line back up out of the compound, all the time thinking of that impossible magical green. That is so cool. All right, so we get a new drive now. Yet again, so many drives, so little time. This one is Help Rico's Experiments. The botanist Rico wants you to help her understand the closed ecosystem of the Greenway, so we need to collect some spores for her. All right, so there's a couple of other things we can explore here. We've got Haifa Labs. Ah, this is where we deliver the spores, right? Okay. And then we've got Haifa Dorm, the commune sleeping quarters. Oh, I can sleep here now instead of in my empty storage container. That's kind of nice. Okay. And we can still work at the Haifa commune to get more energy. Where am I going to find spores, I wonder? Can't do anything in the wastes. I guess maybe I need to look this way. But again, the Greenway gate is locked. This is going to take some exploration, I think. Now, we're actually out of action points for the day, but before we end, I want to go back across and make sure there was nothing else I wanted to check out. So we still haven't fully explored the spoke. That's something we still need to do. We can work at the freight hub. That's a possibility as well. We've still got Castor's table. Oh, right. I forgot about Castor's table. Maybe I shouldn't have sold the Yatagan data. I should be storing it up to give to him. Forgot about that. There's so many things happening right now. It's hard to keep them all straight. We got the tea house, the fabricator, Sabine's surgery. There's a scrap freighter in town. We can buy some scrap. We can help offload scrap. Unloading containers and stuff. Okay. I think for right now, that's all we can do. So I'm kind of excited to spend our first night not in our empty storage container, but instead over in this new commune. So let's cross back to the Greenway, and over here we can have our first good night's sleep in this self-sustaining community. Gotta click on the right thing, the Haifa Dorm. And let's end the cycle. All cycles need to end. Let's rest and prepare for the next one. God knows we've got a lot on our plate with all of these drives we're juggling right now, but I love it. It just feels like there's new mysteries around every corner, and every character we meet, I'm immediately interested in learning more about them and their story. So far, I am loving Citizen Sleeper. I hope you guys are enjoying the playthrough so far as well, and I will see you guys back here on our next cycle.